fly wherever I have to tonight to get there for tomorrow morning. Can you help me?
Sir, I think we may have the same problem. I have an idea.
Anyone?
That is Fox Pictures' latest movie called The Mountain Between Us. It opens in theaters today, following the story of two strangers, as you see Kate Winslet and Idris Elba, who are brought together by fate, hurled into a punishing environment, and forced to depend on each other for survival. Joining us today to chat about the film and test our survival skills is survival consultant David Arama. Good morning, David.
Oh, thanks for having me today. Yes.
Now, this is obviously something people love to go and see.
And you've actually consulted in some reality shows that deal directly with survival.
That's correct, yes. And so when I'm consulting on a reality show, I have to be in charge to make sure all the crews get out alive, not just the actual contestants or that. So it can be very dangerous, and things can happen really fast. So,
and on film sets like that, they actually shot it in BC. It was extremely cold. It was extremely dangerous. At one point, Kate Winslet, without giving away too much, does get submerged in icy waters. So were you going to test our skills to see how we would do?
Well, I do have a couple of skill testing questions here to see if you know what to do to survive. So if there's a disaster or you're lost in the wilderness.
What you are going to do at the end of this is you are going to decide, do you want to be stuck in the wilderness with me or with Dina?
I think we know who's going to win this.
Well, I don't know. You know what, though?
You're a camper. You're a camper.
Well, I don't know. Just because I camp. I mean, you turn the gas stove on. All right, go ahead.
Well, I've already made up my mind. It's about this stuff here. You see, more calories to survive. Anyway, let's get to the questions here. All right.
Wow. It's got shot in right now.
I'm wearing Spanx, to be fair.
All right, so first question. In Canada, approximately how many people become lost in the wilderness annually? A, 5,000, B, 12,000, or C, 1,950?
Kev?
B, 12,000.
That seems way too high. I'm going to go with the lowest number, C.
12,000 it is.
All right.
That many?
And actually, those are reported on average. It could be twice that many, because not everybody walks out of the woods who's been lost for a few days and says, I better call the newspaper and TV station and report that I'm lost.
What I did. Okay.
Yeah. So question two, good. You suddenly realize you're lost in a deep forest.
Okay.
Should you, A, note your location and landmarks and retrace your steps to the last point where you knew you were en route? B, find shelter, stay warm and dry, and wait for rescue? Or C, call 911 for directions on your cell phone?
Hold on, that's assuming you have reception, cell phone reception, and your cell phone's working.
Well, you would call if you're lost. You would call 911. Period. Yeah. But I think that there was another intention meant in that. I would say you would. Well.
I say C.
Well, should there not be one there that says stay exactly where you are and stay warm? Is that B?
That's B.
Can I go with that?
You're going with B. I'm going with C.
Let's hear an answer here.
Okay, he's going with B. I'm going with C.
Well, I'm going with a B with a little bit of C thrown in.
No, Kev, you have to commit to one.
But if you have, would you call 911 or just don't call 911? Just stay in shelter. I don't know.
Okay,
I'm going to commit to B.
So I would say B. Because there's something called the rule of threes. You can survive for 3 days without water, 3 hours if you become severely hypothermic, and that would have been a big thing in that movie. 3 weeks without food, and 3 minutes without oxygen. So shelter and then fire would be critical to survive, and then eventually water. And that's why we say if you are lost in the wilderness, what you should do is stay put, build a shelter, build a fire, and get water. Those are critical things to survive.
You made that sound so easy. I'm building a shelter, I'm making a fire, and I'm getting some water?
I think you'd still call 911, though, if you could.
Well, you still try.
We try to call 911.
Because you never know. Even if you can't hear the dispatcher, most smartphones now have GPS built in.
Yeah.
So if they get a signal in, they can triangulate your latitude, longitude, and come look for you.
And if that doesn't work, it's handy for starting a fire.
That's right. Yes, you could actually start a fire with the cell phone by pulling getting the battery with a little steel wool, but I won't go into that.
You're a MacGyver, Kevin.
All right.
Okay,
question number 3. Moss, so this is a true false. Moss always grows on the north side of trees.
False.
I don't even know what any of that means. Moss grows on the north side of a tree?
Yes. Or does it? I'm not saying it does.
True.
You just like to be contrarian.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
Because moss tends to grow on the darker, cooler side, which tends to be north.
Could be.
But in a dark forest, it can grow
possibly.
somewhere else.
But the answer is false. because in a survival situation, when you're in a state of panic, that's the result of what I call the 7 sisters of death: cold, fear, fatigue, loneliness, thirst, hunger, injuries. You're not thinking clearly like that, and so it'll look like it's growing everywhere. You'll likely not see that. But if you have a compass and a handheld GPS unit, then you might actually notice that tendency. So that's another problem.
So 0 for 3, 3 for 3. We've learned a lot here that we need David with us if we're stuck.
That's right.
Okay. Actually, right now we want to keep you warm this winter. Fox Pictures MBT are making sure you stay warm with a $1,000 gift card from the North Face to buy the ultimate winter gear to stay warm. Go to breakfasttelevision.ca, click on contest for your chance to win. Oh, and you have your book.
Yeah, one last thing I'll just point out. We do have a new book, How to Start a Fire with Water, or 501 Survival Tips That Could Save Your Life. So this book can save your life in any disaster, even a hurricane or an ice storm or being lost in the wilderness.
Because you can also start a fire with the pages in the book uses kindling.
He's right. He's right.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming in. Pick up the book. David, thank you for being here. And we'll put all the details on our website. It's 7:59 on Breakfast Television.